Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans around the world, brace yourselves. Because what happened on WWE Main Night event will go down in history as one of the most shocking, spine-chilling, emotionally chaotic moments the WWE Universe has ever witnessed. The arena was packed to its limits. The chants, the cheers, the camera flashes, it was one of those nights where something felt off. You could sense it in the air. The tension, the unease, the energy was strange, almost electric. And no one could have guessed the storm that was about to hit. Because last night, the unthinkable happened. Jon Moxley, formerly known to the WWE Universe as Dean Ambrose, made his return to WWE after years of absence, years of chaos, and years of blood, scars, and rebellion. But this wasn't just a comeback. This was an eruption. The Lunatic Fringe returned. And Paul Heyman fainted on live television. The night started off normal. Cody Rhodes had just finished a passionate promo about defending the World Heavyweight Championship at Crown Jewel. The crowd was chanting Cody, Cody, and everything was moving in WWE's usual rhythm: lights, fireworks, and hype. But then, out of nowhere, the Titantron flickered, the lights dimmed, and the entire arena dropped into silence. You could hear the hum of the lights above. The commentators went silent. Corey Graves literally whispered, "Wait, what's going on?" Then, a distorted video began playing. Static, broken footage, blood-stained gloves, and a muffled voice repeating, "You forgot me." The screen glitched again and we saw the unmistakable image of barbed wire, wrapped tightly around a steel chair. The crowd gasped. And then, in that gritty, cracked voice that no fan could ever forget, he said, "Did you miss me?" The crowd exploded. Every single person in that arena stood on their feet, screaming. Fans were jumping over the barricades, crying, hugging strangers. The camera zoomed in on Paul Heyman, who was standing ringside with the Bloodline. His face went completely white. You could see the panic in his eyes. The camera cut back to the stage, and through the smoke, through the flashing red lights, Jon Moxley stepped out. Black jacket, combat boots. That cold, furious glare that told the whole world he didn't come back for cheers. He came back for war. Corey Graves shouted into his headset, "What in the hell? That's Moxley. That's the Lunatic Fringe." Michael Cole was frozen. It can't be. It can't be him. He left. He swore he'd never, but there he was. Jon Moxley walked down that ramp like a man possessed. Not a smile. Not a smirk. Just that icy stare that could burn through glass. The fans were screaming, "Holy ST! Holy ST!" over and over again until the arena literally shook. Paul Heyman started shouting at Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso to get him out of here. Get him out right now. But they were frozen, just staring at him. Moxley reached ringside. He didn't even enter through the steps. He slid under the ropes like he used to, slow and deliberate. The moment his boots hit the ring floor, the entire Bloodline took a step back. And that's when everything went from shocking to chaotic. Moxley grabbed the mic, raised it to his lips, and said only one thing: "You took my brother from me." The crowd went silent. The Bloodline looked confused until the Titantron flashed to a highlight reel. It was footage of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose, the Shield. Every iconic moment. Every betrayal. Every time Moxley was left in the shadows. And then it cut to a clip of Roman Reigns standing tall at WrestleMania, holding both titles while Heyman yelled, "Acknowledge your tribal chief." Moxley looked up at the screen, nodded slowly, and said, "Yeah, I acknowledge you, Roman. I acknowledge you as the reason I had to become something worse than a man." The fans lost their minds. The camera panned to Heyman. He was sweating bullets, literally shaking. And then Roman's music hit. The crowd exploded again. "Daanaanaanaanaaa. Acknowledge me." The tribal chief walked out with Solo and Jimmy flanking him, title on his shoulder, stone-faced. But for the first time in years, Roman didn't look confident. He looked uncertain. He slowly walked to the ring, locked eyes with Moxley, and raised his mic. "You shouldn't be here." Moxley smirked. "You shouldn't still be champion." That line hit like a gunshot. The crowd lost it. Roman clenched his jaw, looking to Heyman, who was mouthing something, probably a warning. But Moxley dropped his jacket, revealing his old Shield vest, scarred and torn. "I didn't come back to talk, Roman," Moxley said. "I came back to finish what I started the night you stabbed me in the back." Roman stepped closer. The tension was nuclear. The two were nose to nose. The crowd was screaming, "Fight! Fight! Fight!" Then, before anyone could blink, Moxley headbutted Roman Reigns. The crowd went wild. Roman stumbled back and Moxley snapped. He started throwing wild punches, elbows, knees, hitting Roman like a man unleashed. Jimmy tried to step in. Boom. Dirty deeds on Jimmy Uso. Solo Sikoa tried to hit a Samoan spike, but Moxley countered it into a paradigm shift. The entire Bloodline was down. Roman barely rolled out of the ring as security stormed in, but Moxley grabbed a steel chair, wrapped barbed wire around it, yes, real barbed wire, and screamed, "You think I forgot?" He swung the chair, smashing it into the mat as sparks flew. Paul Heyman screamed at ringside, "Someone stop him. He's crazy. And then it happened. Moxley turned, looked straight at Heyman, and started walking toward him. Slow, menacing. Heyman's face went pale. He backed up, tripped, fell to the ground. Moxley stood over him, chair in hand. Heyman cried, "Jon, please, don't do this. You were like family." Moxley whispered, "Family? You left me to rot." He raised the chair, then dropped it. Heyman gasped, confused, until Moxley smiled. "You're not worth the blood." He turned to leave, but the crowd gasped again. Heyman's eyes rolled back and he collapsed. Right there at ringside. The commentators screamed for medical help as Moxley looked back, emotionless. EMTs rushed out, fans were crying, Roman was shouting from the ramp, "Heyman! Heyman!" Moxley picked up the mic one last time and said, "Roman, I'll see you at Crown Jewel. No bloodline, no rules, just us. And when I'm done you'll finally understand what it's like to lose everything." The night after WWE main night event was pure anarchy. Social media had melted down. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every corner of the internet was burning with one name, Jon Moxley. Clips of Paul Heyman collapsing were everywhere. Headlines screamed things like "Heyman hospitalized after Moxley's return" and "Roman Reigns breaks silence on Moxley invasion." WWE's official YouTube upload crossed 20 million views in under an hour. Fans were calling it the most unpredictable moment in WWE history. But while the fans celebrated, the locker room was terrified. Roman Reigns arrived at Monday Night Raw with a look that said everything: no smiles, no swagger, no championship shine, just rage. Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso walked behind him, heads low. The entire bloodline was fractured. Paul Heyman wasn't even there. He was in the hospital, recovering from what WWE described as severe stress-related collapse. But if Roman came to Raw to talk, he didn't get the chance. The show opened with a cold open, Roman in the ring, holding the mic tight enough to break it. The crowd booed him relentlessly. "You deserve it," they screamed. "Moxley! Moxley! Moxley!" Roman waited until they went quiet enough to hear his voice. "You think this is funny," he said, his tone venomous. "You think some washed-up psycho walking in here means something to me?" The boos got louder. Roman's jaw tightened. "That man left this company. He abandoned you. He went off to bleed in bingo halls, and now you cheer him like he's a hero? Nah, he's a traitor. And at Crown Jewel I'm ending him for good." Roman threw the mic down. But before he could leave, the lights went out. The crowd screamed. The Titantron flickered again, the same static as last night. Then came the sound of chains dragging on concrete. A single whisper echoed, "You can't kill what you didn't create." The arena exploded. A spotlight hit the crowd and there he was. Jon Moxley. Sitting on the barricade, hoodie up, staring straight at Roman from across the sea of fans. He had a smirk that could freeze blood. He climbed the barricade, slowly walked through the crowd, mic in hand. "You talk too much, Roman," he said, walking closer. "You act like you own this place. But deep down, you know the truth. You didn't build this empire. The Shield did. And I was the heart of it." Roman shouted back, "You were the weak link." The crowd gasped. Moxley froze. Then slow smile. "The weak link? You sure about that? 'Cause last time I checked, I didn't need an entire family, a wise man, and 3 belts to feel important." The fans went wild. Chants of "Moxley! Moxley!" filled the air. Roman stepped out of the ring, walking up the ramp to confront him. But before they could meet, security surrounded Moxley. He laughed. "What's wrong, Chief? Scared to get your hands dirty?" Roman shoved a guard aside, but Moxley was already gone. He slipped into the crowd, vanishing like smoke. Raw faded out with Roman's furious glare burning into the camera lens. Next week, Paul Heyman returned, but he wasn't the same. He looked shaken, his voice trembled during interviews. He kept repeating, "He's not like before, he's different." Backstage footage leaked showing Heyman warning Roman, "You can't fight him like you fight the others. This isn't Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre. This is Jon Moxley. He doesn't care if he dies, Roman. And that's what makes him dangerous." Roman slammed his fists on the table, shouting, "Then I'll bury him." But that same night, something even darker happened. During the main event, Roman vs. Sami Zayn, right as Roman was setting up for a spear, the Titantron glitched again. But this time, it wasn't a pre-recorded message. It was live feed. The camera showed the parking lot, and Paul Heyman lying on the ground again. Next to him, a steel pipe, and written in spray paint on the wall behind him, "Justice for the Shield." Roman froze in the ring. The crowd was screaming. He rolled out, sprinting to the back. Solo followed. But when they got there, Heyman was gone. Just the message. and a small, blood-stained glove left behind. The crowd chanted, "Moxley's coming." That moment broke Roman. Over the next 2 weeks, WWE fans saw a new side of him: the paranoia, the desperation, the fear. Roman started attacking random superstars backstage, demanding answers. Seth Rollins appeared one night to confront him, saying, "Maybe this is what you deserve, Roman. Maybe it's your karma, because you forgot where you came from." Roman snapped, spearing Seth through a table. The crowd booed like crazy. Roman screamed at him, "He's not coming back. He's dead." But Moxley was watching. He uploaded a video to WWE's official account the next morning. It was shot in black and white. Moxley sitting in a dark room, candlelight flickering on his face. "Roman, I'm not coming for your title," he said quietly. "I'm coming for your soul." The internet lost its mind. The views hit 50 million. Fans called it the cinematic return of the decade. Crown Jewel, main event night: Roman Reigns vs. Jon Moxley, no rules match for the undisputed championship. The arena in Saudi Arabia was insane. The crowd was split, half chanting, "Acknowledge me," the other half roaring, "Moxley." Roman came out in full tribal chief gear, intense as ever. No bloodline, no Heyman, just him. Then Moxley's entrance hit: no theme, no fireworks, just him walking out with a barbed wire bat. When the bell rang, it wasn't wrestling, it was war. Roman hit a Superman punch early, but Moxley laughed, wiped the blood from his lip and smiled. Roman went for a spear. Moxley countered into a paradigm shift onto the exposed floor. The fans screamed. 1, 2. Roman kicked out at 2.9. Roman came back with a chair shot. Moxley no-sold it, hit a low blow, and wrapped the barbed wire bat around Roman's arm. He screamed, "Acknowledge me now," before smashing it down. The ring became a battlefield. Both men bleeding, crawling, refusing to stop. At one point, Roman speared Moxley through a table. But when he stood up, Moxley laughed through the blood. "You still don't get it, do you? You can't kill me. I'm already gone." Roman looked horrified. In the final minutes, Roman hit a spear. Moxley kicked out. Hit another. Moxley still kicked out. Roman screamed, "Stay down." Moxley flipped him off. Roman lifted him for one final spear, but suddenly Seth Rollins' music hit. The arena exploded. Seth walked out, no smile, no dance. He stared down at the ring, at both of them, his old brothers. He slid into the ring and stopped Roman mid-spear. The crowd didn't know what was happening. Then Seth turned and hit Roman with a curb stomp. The arena went insane. Moxley crawled, arm over Roman. 1, 2, 3, the referee called it. The bell rang. Jon Moxley is the new undisputed WWE champion. The place erupted. Fireworks, tears, screams. Seth looked down at Moxley, who was barely conscious, then whispered, "Welcome home, brother." Moxley smirked weakly, raising the title high as blood dripped from his forehead. Roman was lying motionless. Seth and Moxley stood side by side, the Shield, reborn, but broken. Post-match segment: as the cameras faded, Paul Heyman appeared on the screen, sitting in a dark hospital room. He said, trembling, "The era of the tribal chief is over. The era of the lunatic has begun. And I warned you all." The screen glitched out. Moxley's voice echoed, "This is just the beginning."